Thank you. My name is Julie Curtis, and I'm with Lumen Learning, and it's great to be here today and share with you what we're doing with Waymaker, and it's a personalized learning system. Now, Lumen Learning comes out of the open education community, and so where we start is with open educational resources. So our Waymaker courses provide a complete set of readings, illustrations, images, videos, simulations, a variety of different learning activities that are curated and really the best available in OER. We also provide complete sets of pre-test, formative, and summative assessments, sample discussion forums, sample assignments, all those kinds of things. And all of it is openly licensed, and so faculty members can use it as is, or they have the ability to adapt and modify and remix to make it their own. And of course, that keeps the cost down. All of these things are also aligned at a fine-grained level, and as we deliver it, it's organized into a course structure. But that course structure is configurable, so again, faculty members have a fair amount of freedom to make it their own. Now we know, although the content is really the heart of a course, as Dale was just saying, at the same time, we know that to make it an effective learning experience, there's a lot that we can do to encourage the quality of the learning experience and the way faculty members and students interact. So as we were making design choices around the Waymaker courseware, we were looking at some tensions that we want to balance that are present in the learning experience today. The first one of these is around how people use data. So we know from research that learning data can be really useful for both students and instructors to help them be more effective when it's timely and when it's pertinent. But we also know that to a large degree, neither students nor instructors are the data scientists or have the expertise in learning design to be able to say, okay, here's the data, what do I do with that? How do I interpret that? And so with that in mind, we have a design principle around our courses to try and use prose, not graphs. When we are exposing learning data, we're trying to do it in ways that are very clear, very intuitive, so we're not leaving it up to people to interpret a graph or a chart to say, okay, what do I do with this as a student or as an instructor? A second tension that we're dealing with is around helping build better learners. So it's that metacognition challenge that we heard a fair amount about yesterday. And there's a concern that we need to be aware of that when we're using adaptive systems and they're making choices on behalf of students and instructors, we don't want that ability to make their own effective choices to atrophy. And so we need to look at ways to use technology to actually improve those metacognition skills, to exercise those muscles instead of eroding them. And so with that in mind, we have a second guiding principle around reflecting with data. So we're asking students and instructors periodically to see the data, to see the recommendations, the suggestions that are there, and then make good learning choices about those. A third tension is around the power of teachers. We heard actually great perspective from Dale about the importance, in fact, the increasing importance and role of teachers in adaptive learning. For most of us, our most inspiring and memorable moments in education are around interacting with an incredible teacher. And so there's this tension that as we become more and more fixated on scaling and getting more students through more effective learning experiences, we need to be careful that we're not eliminating the humans in that loop. And so we should be using technology, which actually can foster relationship very well, to improve that and to strengthen that. And so we have this third design principle around strengthening relationships. So with that as a kind of preface about what goes into Waymaker, I'll show you a little bit about what it looks like and how it works. So first off, Waymaker gives students automatic day one access to great OER content inside your learning management system. So this is a picture of a typical course content page in a Waymaker course. This one happens to be in Canvas. You'll probably recognize the navigation there. And it has images, it has text. As I said, the content can incorporate interactive simulations, video, all of that type of thing. And it's a very clean, modern interface that students find very easy to use and navigate. Waymaker also provides students with this content. The way they interact with it is through a personalized study plan. So this is a picture of what that study plan looks like. So as a student comes into the material, this is a module or a chapter, a section in the course. And so they come in and there's some introductory material. They're invited to take a very short, simple pre-test, it's not graded. And then the results of that pre-test then are exposed to them as they're working through the content. So in this situation, the student has taken the pre-test, and you see that the needs work is a signpost. That's the learning data, but that's how we're signaling to the student in a very clear, intuitive way. This is where you need to focus. The blue signal on track is saying you got your questions right there. So you may have some prior knowledge, you may have some foundation there. But we're giving the students this information and giving them that opportunity to reflect and to make choices about how they want to use their time in their studying. So it's this very simple, intuitive way of personalizing. And then as they move through the material, as they do self-checks, as they do graded quizzes, that study plan will update, and it will help them track their progress as they're developing towards mastery. So Waymaker is also focused on doing some interesting things around communication and relationship building with the student and with the instructor. And to show you how Waymaker works here, I'm going to show you some interactions that happened last fall in a Waymaker macroeconomics course that was taught at Saddleback College in California. So these are some exchanges that were shared with us by the professor. Waymaker has a set of automated messaging tools. So it's watching behind the scenes as students are interacting with the material and using it or not using it, and how they're progressing, how they're performing. And so at the bottom there is the automated message that went out from the instructor, from the system. It says, I see that you didn't do as well as you probably wanted to on the quiz. And so looking back, I also see you're not using the self-checks. So before you take your second attempt on that quiz, review the material, take the self-checks. I know you can do better. So it's encouraging, it's individualized to that student and what they've just experienced. And the response the professor received is this: hey, I will use the material to improve my score. I'm working 60 hours a week and I'm a full-time student, but I know I need to focus on school. So thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I'll do better. So it's a really simple thing, provides a lot of good background, though, and connection that might not otherwise happen, and can happen as early in the course as the student is interacting with it. So we're able to see early on and have that flag, have that intervention. So Waymaker is also showing some nice progress around helping students exhibit those good behaviors that you want to see. So this is another interaction. It's another one of those automated messages about remember to use the self-checks. And this time the student is saying, yeah, I thought I took the quiz because I got 100% on the pretest, but I guess I was rusty. So I took it a second time after I went through the material and I took the self-checks like you suggested, and I did much better. So here we're seeing exactly that kind of metacognitive development, building better skills, building better awareness of how they can be successful. So Waymaker also has, it's giving a lot of attention to how do we encourage students. We hear a lot from faculty members that they spend a lot of time looking for the struggling students and don't have nearly as much time to provide encouragement to the students who are doing well. So this is a really simple message that the system will send out when a student scores well on a quiz. It's just a good job, I'm proud of you, keep up the good work type message. And students, it's actually really rewarding to see how students respond to this. We've heard from students we've seen, I've never had a faculty member pay attention to me like that before, which is a shame. But yet, it's really powerful when you give them this recognition. It's a very simple thing to do. Faculty members tell us also they feel like they're really incredible teachers when they have this kind of interaction. Excuse me. And the system can help them do it very efficiently and effectively. So is Waymaker making a difference? Waymaker is relatively new. We're actually just finishing, this term we'll finish our second academic year of having people teaching with Waymaker courses. We saw some really promising results from our spring learning data analysis last year. We're in the middle of the summer and fall term analysis right now, so we'll have more evidence soon. But two big findings that came out. First, more students are completing and passing Waymaker sections compared to same course, but not using Waymaker. And we also are seeing that Waymaker sections are erasing the performance gap that is often there with Pell-eligible students. We have a variety of different courses available in Waymaker. If you are interested in seeing a course list, we have some out on the table, so stop by. We focus primarily on introductory and survey type courses, and we've got 10, 11 I think now, and another set coming available in April. We'd be happy to show you those and demonstrate any that you're interested in looking at. We're very straightforward with our pricing, so we charge a course support fee of $25 per student enrollment. Fairly simple. That replaces the cost of an external textbook. So that's the quick preview of Waymaker. Thank you.